something a little bit different. Hello and welcome to the Art of Artisan. Today I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm currently working like 1.5 jobs while being a full-time student, so my time is more crunched, and I was trying to decide, should I stream or should I make videos? And I decided, why not do both? So on the left of the screen, chat may pop up, so I'm going to let chat talk and hang out while I do my videos. But today, also another thing I'm doing differently is going to be because of the deck we're doing. So, Experimental Confectioner. When it enters the battlefield, it creates a food token. But whenever we sacrifice a food, we get to make a 1/1 rat token. Notice, Wizards of the Coast has been very careful in the past by saying, whenever you sacrifice one or more foods, or this only triggers once per turn. There are no restrictions on this, which means Peregrine took, if one or more tokens will be created under our control, that many tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. If we sacrifice 3 foods with Peregrine took, Experimental Confectioner puts 3 individual triggers on the stack to make a 1/1 rat token. Each of those triggers will also make a food token because of Peregrine took, which means we get to draw our deck and create infinite 1/1 rats. This is very strong. However, we're not going to be as all in on this combo as you potentially could build a deck like this. We're going to be using Knight of the Sweet's Revenge as kind of a backup plan. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge also is fantastic ramp, letting us potentially play Experimental Confectioner and Peregrine Took on the same turn. But it's also an alternate win con. I've had in testing a couple games where I didn't get Peregrine Took to stick, but I actually was able to sacrifice enough foods that I had like 5 rats, and then I gave them all +3/+3 and swung in for lethal. So Knight of the Sweet's Revenge, fantastic card. It's ramp. It's also a win condition. But one thing that this combo needs is we do need to have food tokens. We need to have 3 initial food tokens to start the loop. Luckily, we only actually kind of need 1, because if we have 1 food on the battlefield and then we play Peregrine Took and then we play Experimental Confectioner, it'll create 2 food tokens. But to be careful, and also because we've got the alternate win con, we're going heavy on food. Welcome to Sweet Tooth. This, I think, is an underrated card. It gives you a lot of value for 2 mana, and sure, like it's a 1/1 token. It's not like immediate value, but that 3rd chapter means that against Gruul decks, you can make a creature very hard to remove by pumping it up a lot. Trail of Crumbs, this is a classic food deck card. Trail of Crumbs is extremely good value. Note that it doesn't even ask how you sacrifice the food. So if you sacrifice the food to Peregrine Took, you can pay 1 mana to draw deeper. So sacrificing 3 foods to Peregrine Took with Trail of Crumbs down, you can pay 3 mana and draw 4 cards. Incredible. Tough Cookie, kind of an alternate win con. This actually works really well with Knight of the Sweet's Revenge, giving us a bunch of ramp, because we can then dump our mana into this to start making our food into 4/4 creatures temporarily. More importantly, this is 2 foods, because technically Tough Cookie is itself a food. So this is kind of a mana dork that makes another mana dork on ETB with Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. It's also something we can sack to Peregrine Took, all that good stuff. Candy Trails, scries 2, draws a card when we sack it, and gains life. This is a very powerful card as an early play. It lets us start digging for our combo, helps us stabilize against aggro by having an early play that gains life. Many Partings, pretty much a way to fit more food into our deck by trimming down on lands and replacing them with mini Partings. Good stuff. These 2 removal spells are especially interesting. The Witch's Vanity, it creates a food token, but that's not even why I chose it. I only noticed it made a food token after it was in the deck. I like it because it is a enchantment removal spell, which is very powerful because Trail of Crumbs only can put permanent cards into our hand. So we can start drawing removal spells, even though it's only permanents, because we have these 2 enchantment removal spells, which I think is cool. Ravenous Squirrel, pretty powerful card with food. We can just like manually sack food. We can use Ravenous Squirrel's ability to sack the food and start drawing. And the main reason I love it is a must-kill threat. Most opponents are going to see Ravenous Squirrel and go fire off the removal, which paves the way for us to play out our combo and have it stick. Other than that, a lot of removal interaction. We can destroy creatures and planeswalkers, creatures, pretty much non-creatures. Overall, I think this deck is very strong. And I'm so confident that it's strong that even as a combo deck, I am going to play this in best of 3. So if you want to see some best of 3 action, I mean, we've got Duresses in the sideboard, we've got more removal spells, we've got protection spells, we've got anti-graveyard stuff, we've got anti-mill stuff, more removal, kind of a way to get some value and rebuy combo pieces against removal heavy matchups. I think this deck is going to make it in best of 3. I'm only in like gold tier as usual because I don't play much ranked outside of my videos, but we're going to be trying to go off. Let's see if we can do it. So this is Confectioner combo, and we're going to be playing it in best of 3, so this video is going to be long. Let's have fun, guys. Alrighty, game 1. Oh, if it ever loads, maybe game 1. Against Full Effect. I was a little bit worried. I was like, wait, why do I not have anyone in my chat? Am I actually live and stuff? And then I was thinking about it. I mean, I'm trying to record this during Worlds. Magic World Tournament is going on right now. So people who watch Magic probably not going to be watching me. Okay, opponent is on Giganta the Wellspring, and I accidentally chose best of 1. Dang it. Removal spell. That's something we can sack to the removal spell. This is a keep because I think removal is going to be super important in this matchup, and we don't have a ton of removal in the deck. So, all right, we need to grab our black source here, which now will let us next turn Annihilating Glare, and we have a food token we can sack to the Glare. If they don't play anything super threatening like Symmetry Sage I will 100% kill. And I might even do it efficiently. Yeah, we're going to pass. We're going to pass and hope that our opponent spends resources trying to, like, Reckless Rage the Symmetry Sage. Soulscar Mage, nice, nice. They're going to Reckless Charge it, sure. So we will remove the Symmetry Sage in response. Next turn we hopefully hit a land. Probably shouldn't have kept the 1-lander, but we do hit the land. Never punished. We'll create a 1/1. And we will immediately Annihilating Glare this. Sacrificing an artifact, I think is the right call here. And we destroy the Soulscar Mage. Your go, opponent. Alright, so our opponent's down on their threats, which makes their card draw worse if they're running like the Mentor's Guidance and Flame of Anor. Expressive Iteration is still a fantastic card draw spell. But one nice thing about this deck is if you remove their threats, it gets harder for this deck to draw into their other threats. Okay, there's the land. They have the threat to go with it. If not, we can play Experimental Confectioner, which is not amazing, but it's going to make our Welcome to Sweet Tooth stronger. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is going to start getting really good. Okay, Soulscar Mage, sure thing. Creates a food. Could play Candy Trail and sack it, but I think this is actually the better play for now. Because I want to have a lot of food on the battlefield for Welcome to Sweet Tooth. I get a rat from sacking the Candy Trail. The rat's not super important because it cannot block, so it's not going to be like insane. But it will be nice to have a rat. And it's nice to get that extra value if we can get it. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is almost at the point of being a free spell, kind of. Because we can play it and then it creates a food token and we can immediately tap these 3 to start like casting spells and stuff. Is this a reckless charge? Please don't kill my confectioner. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so now our Welcome to Sweet Tooth is going to fizzle the last step, which is not ideal. I think we do just still do this, though. We're going to play the Confectioner, and then we're going to play Candy Trail. And we'll see if we can pull something off with this. Scry 2. Another Confectioner's not going to do much. I mean, we can start sacking food to gain life. That's like a very real thing we can do. And that will start getting us rats, and the Night of the Sweet Revenge could win, but I don't think it's worth it here. I think we just let the opponent make a move. We're going to start gaining life, but I want to be getting closer to actually winning than just getting a tiny bit of value out of sacking our food. Reckless Charge. I'm actually kind of happy they did Reckless Charge there, because I was kind of scared of them having other threats be hasty. Okay, that's no good. Let's draw a card. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I'm dumb. I should have played Night of the Sweet's Revenge first. I still... no, because I wanted to be able to play a creature afterwards. But mana-wise, it would have been pretty easy to do a bit more than what I did there. Oh, that's game. That's game. No, it isn't. I can still sack a food. That's all I can do. Is that still dead? No, that's gonna be... Yeah, that's exactly lethal. Through the food. Reckless Charge. Pretty busted card. Alright. I'm not sure if that one's going in the video. I was doing this for best of 3 largely because we have a better game plan. This is kind of weird, but we have a less linear game plan than the average deck in best of 1. Despite being a combo deck, we are a less linear game plan. Alrighty. Playing against Cryptic Sate. I just lost a best of 1 game to Izzet Wizards. I think we were a lot better in best of 3 against that deck, and I was just talking to chat about this, even though there's no chat here, because everybody's busy watching the World Tournament going on. This is definitely keepable. We've got the full combo in hand. But, despite being a combo deck, I actually think we've got a better fair game plan than a lot of the best of 1 decks have. Like, best of 1 historic is plagued by wild decks that are just trying to combo off as fast as possible, which it kind of looks like our opponent is doing. Dang it. I was hoping we wouldn't face something like that. Oh well, we might combo off before our opponent does, but our combo doesn't immediately win the game. Is there a way we can get Night of the Sweet's Revenge down fast? Oh, what is this? This is Ramp. I was thinking this was going to be Yawgmoth combo, because I saw the Delighted Halfling, but no, this is just all-in Ramp. Our opponent's doing something crazy. I actually think we slow our opponent down, and we Night of the Sweet's Revenge next turn. My reasoning on this is we will also get infinite mana if we have Night of the Sweet's Revenge, because we can tap all of our food for mana. Unless they play Karn, and this is definitely mono green devotion the more I'm looking at it. So maybe this is a pretty bad play. Oh well. Night of the Sweet's Revenge. There we go. And we can play Peregrine Took here. We will play Peregrine Took here. My reasoning is I don't think our opponent's going to have removal. I think they might have Karn, and Karn would prevent us from playing both halves of the combo in 1 turn. Please don't punish me by somehow killing Peregrine Took in your mono green deck, opponent. If they don't, if our opponent does not immediately Karn us, we are going to play every single green card in our deck next turn. Which will be kind of cool. Plus, maybe 1 or 2 black spells if we wanted. Jeez. Own it. Okay, they swing in. Sure. We accept. Bonk. We can also make Peregrine Took infinitely big and force the opponent to chump block. That's not going to be, like, hugely important, but we can do that. Maybe I need a way to give haste in this deck, or potentially trample. So we tap these all for mana. We're going to cast this Confectioner. Make a food. We will sack 3 foods. Draw a card. Dunk, dunk, dunk. We're going to decline on these Trail of Crumbs, I believe. Decline. 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 Peregrine Took finds a Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. I'm not sure if I should be tapping these for mana. Maybe I should wait until I have cards to cast. I do have cards to cast, though. Peregrine Took sacks 3 foods. That's a lot of triggers. Donk, donk, donk. Decline. 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 Opponent scoops it up. Okay, opponent. Huge thank you to them. Huge thank you to them for being willing to respect the infinite. So, how much do we interact with our opponent and how much do we just go turbo? So our fair game plan sucks. We are not winning fairly. So we are going to get rid of all of these. Those just are not going to be good enough here. That leaves us space for a Tear Asunder. No, not a Tough Cookie. So we get a Tear Asunder in this matchup. Like, Soul Guide Lantern, maybe we can snipe the one with Flashback. Not too excited about that. Tear Asunder destroys enchantments. Sheoldred's Edict, going to be huge for killing Karn. We do need to kill Karn. And actually, I'm going to go with Duresses. Is Duress the right call? Duress can really clip their ramp. Duress or Fatal Push? Fatal Push kills ramp. Duress potentially snipes Karn. I think I go with 1 push. Nothing else here seems great in the matchup. Yep, we're good. Alrighty. But yeah, huge respect to the opponent, because they probably could have just forced us to time out and lose that. Maybe they didn't know the rats don't block, and they thought we were just being ridiculous, but no, we were kind of dead on board there to them. Unless we drew some good stuff. Okay. Trail of Crumbs, Peregrine Took, Knight of Sweet's Revenge. We've got all of our best cards, pretty much. That's Utopia Sprawl. That's strong. That's very strong. Swamp, your go, opponent. Please don't play, yep, Kiora. That's pretty much the best card they could have right there. Turn 2 Kiora. Oh, good, they had nothing with it. Oh, that's great. Each opponent sacrifices a Planeswalker. Get Kiora out of here. Nykthos, not doing much yet. Plukranos. Now it's doing something. But sadly for our opponent, we are not letting them get Nykthos ramp. Plukranos, get out of here. Still got 4 mana. They're short of Cavalier of Thorns. Karn. That turns off our Knight of Sweet's Revenge in a very meaningful way. And they grabbed a land. That's cool. I have big respect for the opponent who uses Karn to grab lands. Is this where Cavalier starts coming down? Yep, Cavalier. Oh, why did they grab Nykthos there? Wait, why did they grab Nykthos? And they're taking down Karn? Wait a second. Oh, if we like draw a removal, if we draw, is there a removal spell we have? No, we don't hit it. Killing Cavalier and killing Karn this turn would have been super good. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge turns our food into mana dorks. However, Karn prevents our food from being mana dorks. So this is not looking good. I mean, Experimental Confectioner is a great top deck at this point. But things are not great. Our opponent's in combo off hard territory. They're going to probably use Boat to kill our... Boat kills our Peregrine Took, and then we fail to combo off. Yep. Deploy the Boat. Boat goes bonk. Sure. They swing in for 5. All right, how do we get out of this? Are there draws that get us out of this? So they can attack with Boat every single turn. Which means we need to get out of this by playing our full combo in one turn. There's not really an option to hold it in hand. That's the full combo. Oh, we can't sack the food. We have no way to sack our food. Yeah, we concede. All right. And they have a buffer against Sheoldred's Edict for their Karn. Is there anything we change here? All right, so after looking at their deck more, these Fatal Pushes look pretty bad. I guess I grab one Tough Cookie over a Fatal Push, because I'm thinking they're very light on mana dorks. Yeah, it seems like their whole goal is to use Kiora to untap lands. And so they're much lower on some of the cards. All right. This is a turn 3 Peregrine Took. Might not be as good as what our opponent's doing. Oh, double mulligan. Double mulligan, that's good for us. Trail of Crumbs. We could duress. I'm going to duress. Reasoning being getting Trail of Crumbs is down is actually better later. Look at the top 5 cards. You can reveal a permanent, put it into your hand. This finds Karn. Kiora doesn't find Karn. It just helps them cast Cavalier. This is our better play here. We're kind of in race mode. And we're actually kind of decent in race mode. I mean, we're going to get Trail of Crumbs plus Knight of Sweet's Revenge, and Peregrine Took is going to draw us deep into our deck. Ooh, that's a good hit. Okay, that's a good hit for our opponent. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Play as mana efficiently as we can. Oh, sweet. Oh my gosh, we can just play the Trail of Crumbs off of Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. That gives us 2 food tokens, which we can immediately tap for mana. I guess we didn't need to do the second tap. We now use Peregrine Took, sacrificing 3 foods. Oh yeah, we are going to want to tap it. Dunk. Trail of Crumbs, auto pay. That finds us a Confectioner. Auto pay. That finds us a Candy Trail, I guess. Why not? And then we draw a card, and that's a duress. Oh. And opponent, you are in very big trouble. They scoop it up. They recognize the infinite. Alrighty. We just beat Mono Green Devotion, which is a very strong deck. We just crushed Mono Green Devotion with food. Oh my gosh, that was cool. Alrighty. On to game number 2. Oh, wonderful. Game number 2 versus Michael. And, oh my goodness, I thought literally no one was going to show up to the stream because Worlds is going on right now. But how's it going, Wows? Alright. Oh, I never updated the record. I need to do that. This hand is good. I think we're going to lead on the tap land. Let me update the record real quick. Edit. Knight of the Eben Legion. That is a cool card. And we are currently 1-0. Save that. Okay, we're good. Okay, we can kill that. Do we need to kill it yet, or do we save our removal for next turn? I think we actually just save removal for next turn. Tough Cookie blocks it. Might get our opponent to waste a removal spell on our Tough Cookie. Helps us start setting up. I mean, like, if we draw Peregrine Took, we're just ready to go. Opponent thinking. Seems good. Half the typical hand of Golgari Wake. I mean, yeah. The Ravenous Squirrel is so good in this combo. Because, like, the combo is going to give us infinite artifact sacrificing as well. Oh, brutal. I guess that's a little annoying. I mean, they're probably going to take the squirrel because we have 2 removal spells, and usually people are like, I can't really get rid of your removal spells. So if they're a heavy aggro deck, they might get rid of one of the removal spells. Oh, does opponent know? I thought this was the last card they would have taken. There's no way that anybody's gonna get rid of our experimental confectioner. That's just a random jumpstart card. Dang. Alright. Now we just play the squirrel. 1-mana Tarmogoyf is always Pog. I mean, yeah. Ravenous Squirrel, kind of a Tarmogoyf. I did opt to not run Sacrifice lands. Oh yeah, this doesn't even get affected by Sacrifice lands. It's not Jury or Mayhem Devil. For some reason I thought it was when I was making the deck, and I was like, I guess I'll choose to not. I guess I wanted to do these lands because I'm like, it's going to be more important to have our colors. We're a combo deck primarily. I think I do just push this knight. I don't see too much of a reason not to. Oof, I would love to draw some lands. But alas, no lands past the opening hand. Gotta love when that happens. I mean, our opponent's not putting on very much pressure at all. If they cast Shieldred, we just... The One Ring, sure. One Ring's kind of annoying. Alright, that's a land. Finally. And I actually think we're just gonna sack a food and use Trail of Crumbs to try and hit a 4th land drop to get Knight of the Sweet's Revenge in, and then we can start really going off with these Trail of Crumbs. So our opponent's not really putting any pressure on us yet. And this does get around Orcish Bowmasters. Trail of Crumbs does not draw. I am not on Deadly Dispute with this list. Deadly Dispute is a card I considered, but I opted to go for also our opponent's an Invoke Despair Gamer. Wow. I'll pay for that. And we will take the 4th land drop over a combo piece in this situation. Okay. Opponent gets rid of our trail. Kind of annoying. But yeah. I'm going a lot more on backup plans. So I've just won so many games with this deck with just the backup plan of random stuff beat down. Like Tough Cookie and whatever. Because Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is a very real win condition. If opponent plays Shieldred, we can upkeep kill it. Oh, never mind. We can no longer upkeep kill Shieldred. Oh man, that's really rough. Alright, we can at least get removal for Bowmasters, and comboing off doesn't work through Shieldred, does it? Ugh, that's really bad. Yeah, that resolves. We will crack a food immediately. Pay 2, crack a food. Yeah, opponent on the most interesting list you've ever seen. I know. Like, what a genius idea. They just realized, what if we did Shieldred plus the one ring? Like, how do they come up with that? Oh man, at least we can get rid of the Bowmasters. And we can make a food. This is pretty much binding the old gods. Destroy something, make something that ramps you, and then make it harder for your opponent to block. It's pretty much 2 mana binding the old gods. Yeah, we'll search our library for a card. Ugh. This is not good, though. This is very much the opposite of good. Oh, I should have grabbed a swamp. I'm going to have enough green mana with all the food. Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh, well. Okay, so we're probably going to lose to the Shieldred midrange pile. Ugh. Very frustrating. I hate this deck. One ring again. Why not? Why not? Also, I think that's a mistake on the opponent's part. I don't think you play the second one and then get rid of the old one. But I mean, whatever, it's our opponent's list. I think you put more pressure on me because your life total is not an issue right now. Alright, let's make a food token. We've got all the mana in the world, but no real way to slow down our opponent. Yeah, this is looking mildly doomed. Actually, wait, no. So we can sack food to gain life. That's a very real thing we can do in this deck. Alright, tough cookie. Eventually mana neutral because the cookie and the food can tap for mana. Not actually mana neutral because, I mean, Abzan Junk with food synergy. Oh, yeah. I've been really wanting to do a deck that's 4 copies of the, whatever the card's called, the super cheap one. We will just, oh, I can't sacrifice it. Dang it. I can't sack it. All right. We'll do this first. See if we can find anything. I've been wanting to play with the 1-drop food that's also a clue token. I've really been wanting to try to use that. Yeah, we're dead. I don't think there's any way we get out of this. I mean, yeah, let's draw a card. Woohoo! There's Took. However, our opponent can literally just pump up their Knight of the Even Legion big enough. It does not really matter what happens here. All right, we lose. We dead. We tapped out. Our opponent has perfect information. So, Shieldred's Edict. Awkward against Bowmasters. You can flash it in and fizzle it multiple ways. Not a huge fan of that. This is going to be a bit of a longer game. Tear Asunder, Answer to the Ring. Fatal Push is a way to kill Shelly. There's not really any creatures bigger than Shelly I'm worried about, so I can cut the Glare. Vanity, I mean, these are okay cards. I don't think we're going to do much with Tough Cookie this matchup. Not too excited about Tough Cookie at the very least. I probably want the copy of Back for Seconds. Oh, no Haywire Mites. Haywire Mite, that is absolutely something I should have in the sideboard. That is a great point. Haywire Mite just fits this sideboard super well, especially because it's something I can find off of Trail of Crumbs. Okay, what is cuttable at this point? Thinking about Squirrel, especially in a Bowmaster world. Like, it's gonna die before it gets big far too often. Like, at the very least, it's not a good turn 1 play. I'll think of it more as a top-end engine. Bowmasters, like, I would argue Bowmasters are actually kind of balanced. Don't think we're keeping that. I would argue that Bowmasters are balanced. All right, we're gonna keep this and hope. Bowmasters are balanced simply due to the fact that they scale with the opponent's deck. If your opponent's playing a good deck, they're gonna draw more cards. Like, if your opponent's playing a one ring deck, Bowmasters is going to punish them hard. If they're not, Bowmasters is going to be kind of meh. But the issue is, it invalidates way too much. I think more than a balance issue, there's an invalidation issue. Creatures that have 1 toughness are just not ever going to stick on the battlefield. I mean, like, look at Crucius. I kind of thought that them nerfing it to be a 3/1 was a meme, but Crucius just dies to Bowmasters now, and so it's almost invalid, even though it's still doing this very broken ability. That's a Took. We do not need more lands. We'll keep the Took. So that's what's... So I'm not happy about Bowmasters, even if it is a kind of balanced card. It's still like a little bit too strong. But it scales with your opponent, which makes it a little bit more okay. Opponent, basic swamp, Knight of the Ebon Legion. Inquisition, get wrecked, nerd. Nice Inquisition. Well, that's a good thing about playing a bad deck. I'm going to do this now to play around Bowmasters. Our opponent could have, like, if I waited until their turn, they could just play a swamp, and now I'm scared to crack the clue. Thoughtseize. That's annoying. Trying to play a synergy-based deck against Inquisition into Thoughtseize and all that is not enjoyable. All right. Do we play Peregrine Took and just hope it sticks? I mean, I think so. I think we play it out. Oh my gosh. Just Fatal Push. They've got Fatal Push, but they have no way to turn on Fatal Push yet. Okay. So how do I play around Fatal Push effectively? Luckily, I can just kill their Graveyard's Trespasser. That's like not even a problem. Yeah. I'm not going to play the Swamp because I want to hide a little bit of information. If they play Sheoldred, I hate everything. But yeah, I'm going to do this. Boy, Thoughtseize is really a card that forces you to be playing just like good on their own cards. The fact that Thoughtseize is in black and that Bowmasters are in black and that Sheoldred is in black and pairs so well with the ring. Oh, it just all snowballs in the worst way. Stuck on land drops? Is opponent stuck on land drops? Wait a second. I think opponent's stuck on land drops, and they've got the ring and Sheoldred at 4. If that's the case, maybe we have a chance of getting into this game. Like, we have nothing going on, but maybe Trail of Crumbs would be a fantastic top deck. It is a less fantastic top deck, but still very good. Or we could draw a swamp. Our deck does have a ton of crazy mana sinks, so it is correct to play out lands. We also don't have any way to loot away stuff. It might be nice to keep one card in hand, though, to bait out Thoughtseizes. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day. Wouse, glad you dropped by. Down to 19. Knight of the Ebon Legion's going to start growing. And they didn't even seem to have 4-drop, which is a little bit weird. Okay, I will play the Swamp. If I don't, my opponent will start suspecting I have something worth thought seizing. If I do this, I don't think they'll try to thought seize me. Do they pump? They just pump. Dang. Alright. Is there a way I can get a token down, play Squirrel, and immediately sack for Squirrel? Or I could draw a land. Dang it, I didn't pass through my turn very effectively. They might know I've got something in hand. Pump. Do they pump again? They pump again. Alright. Are we just gonna die to getting thought seized out of the game? Yep, we're gonna die to thought seize out of the game. They have Fatal Push in hand, we lose. Okay. Well, that sucks. That was kind of rough. We did not draw very well. I mean, we mulliganed a 6-lander into a 5-lander. Oh well. Alright. On to game 3. We beat one of the better decks in the format, and then we lost to what I think is a better deck than that one in the format. I do think we actually have a good chance against mono black mid-range, but multiple discard spells was really rough for us that game. We've got combo. We've got stuff to do on early turns. I'm not sure exactly what approach I want to take in this. I think I start off with Candy Trail. Scry 2. Do I want either of these? Peregrine Took might be nice as a backup card. Our opponent is on Esper colors, which makes me think there might be a fair amount of removal. I think I'll keep it on top. And next turn I may just mini Partings. We'll see. We'll see what I want to do next turn. Yeah, I'm going to mini Partings. Opponent, would you like to counter this? This is a very juicy counter card, especially where I didn't play my land drop first. They might think they can catch us, but they did not choose to bite. We will grab black here, largely because Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is going to give us more green mana than black. And I think Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is going to be a pretty early goal for this game. Okay, more Esper stuff. All right, we've got 3 Peregrine Tooks. Time to start slamming them into counter spells. Would you like to counter my Peregrine Took? Yes, they saw it coming. I doubt that. I doubt they... Actually, I don't know. I was playing food cards, janky food cards. Maybe they did see Peregrine Took coming. Okay. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge doesn't win me the game. Peregrine Took, I have a backup copy of it. Which one do I slam into the counter spell? I think Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. I think I just slam this one into a counter. What is it, opponent? You changed the equation. Oh no, the math is all wrong. I mean, if I got Knight of the Sweet's Revenge there, I could have next turned Peregrine into Experimental Pop-Off. Ooh, welcome to Sweet Tooth. I play this, and now I can sack Candy Trail if nothing else happens this turn. Alright. That's in play. Pass to their turn. What do they got? Alright, they're cycling Sensor. That's a good sign. They're playing hard counters and soft counters. A mixture of the two. But they're also Esper. What's going on here? Let's draw a card. Okay, oh, now we've got double backup. They're thinking. There's something that they're thinking about. I don't know what they'd be thinking about, though. Okay, we've slammed one Peregrine Took into a counter. Let's slam another one. We're holding up Unkicked Tear Asunder. We're playing around a lot of soft permission, though. Sweet, sweet. We are not going to attack. Not attacking, because our opponent's playing a weird control deck. It looks like it's someone who built a control deck without knowing what a control deck's goals are. So I'm scared of Liliana. I'm scared of maybe Bowmasters or a flash creature. And some combination of those, of Liliana and something with flash. Or something that kills an attacking creature. I'm going to try and play around that by not attacking. Alright, my turn. Land drop is nice. We'll put a counter here. We'll put our counters there. Now we will swing in. What do you say, opponent? You want to take 6? You want to take 6. Alright, we'll see if our opponent has any idea what's going on. We're playing around soft permission still. They need 2 counter spells to stop that. Alright. Do they let us get a food? Oh, you can't let us get a food, opponent. Alright. On opponent's end step, we are going to be making a lot of stuff. Alright, we'll resolve that. Reprieve is fine. Stern Scolding is fine. March of Otherworldly Light requires a fair amount of mana to do anything. We don't need to resolve anything, really, to go off. If we do this, our opponent gets the Reprieve and maybe a way to counter our stuff. I think I swapped these. I'm going to hide March of Otherworldly Light and this. Let my opponent get 2 counter spells. I could also do some sort of fake out. Reprieve is fine. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll see what our opponent goes for. That is a hard decision. It is hard to play around Sauron's Ransom. Like, it's a fun card. I think Sauron's Ransom is one of the greatest cards. Simply because it leads to such cool decisions for both players. Like, even if you're not an interactive deck, you're forced to interact in a weird way. Alright, let's start drawing. Let's start drawing. Yep. Okay, yep. I draw. Let's draw some more. Do you like this plan, opponent? I like this plan. I like drawing all of the cards. Yeah, that's not a useful card. Let's draw some useful cards. If we got another experimental confectioner, we would actually be making infinite food, which would be nice. Okay, still no useful cards. Let's draw some more. Opponent's trying to think if it's worth removing one of my creatures to prevent us from drawing our deck. And they decide not. They think they can stop us, even with us having drawn our deck. Which I think is pretty brazen of our opponent. All right, what I mostly want is Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. If we get Knight of the Sweet's Revenge, we probably win. Like, that's going to be a big threat for our opponent to deal with. They're going to have to start answering every single card we play. Still nothing. Holy cow. Can I please draw some cards that affect the game? I might play Elspeth's Nightmare as a way to start getting cards out of the opponent's hand. Trail of Crumbs, that's a great hit. Kind of want Knight of the Sweet's Revenge, though. What I would like more than anything here. And I'm just drawing lands. I mean, lands are good. You want to have lands in your deck, but right now, I just want action to throw at our opponent's counter spells. That's a good draw. Come on, deck. Give us something good. It's another Trail of Crumbs. 1, 2, 3. Draw. So let's see. What is the best stuff we can do? We're going to have 7 mana next turn. That's enough to, like, Welcome to Sweet Tooth, Peregrine Took. I guess I'd actually lead with Peregrine Took. All right, we're going to let it happen now. Oh, shoot. I didn't even think of that. Wait, does our opponent have nothing? It feels like they have nothing. It's probably... Oh, they have something. They have Reprieve. And they have Stern Scolding. Well, I almost just threw that right into Stern Scolding. Would you like to sternly scold my Peregrine Took opponent? Seems kind of free. You reprieve it. Okay, so they're desperate for stuff. That is a good sign for us. So I think our play here... Trail of Crumbs is meh. We want Welcome to Sweet Tooth. We're going to just keep the pressure on our opponent here. They've got Stern Scolding, 1 mana, which is very strong. Many Partings is okay, I guess. Trail of Crumbs, good, good, good. All right, Witch's Vanity. You're a dead card. Tear Asunder, I think I want to have 1 removal spell. Forest. Elspeth's Nightmare actually is kind of good. Many Partings. Sorry, you're not going to actually do anything. 2. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. That's only 4. Ugh, so many decisions. I guess I just drop all the lands. And even drop... Yep, I'm going to drop all the lands and a Trail of Crumbs. That hurts, but that's what we got to do. Okay. We're going to start making food again. An opponent needs to find a way to deal with what we're doing. Jace? Do they have a combo to mill themselves? They're Tainted Pact. They're actually Tainted Pact. Oh, if I had Tear Asunder up, can you imagine? Wait. Opponent? Did you just punt? Did our opponent just punt harder than I've ever seen anyone punt ever? I was like, why are they playing this weird combination of cards? They've got Censor, Change the Equation, Saw It Coming. I feel like you could have much more focused counter spells to fit your game plan. But you can't have focused spells. Alright, so those who don't know the combo. Tainted Pact, exile the top card of your library. You may put it into your hand unless it has the same name as another card exiled this way. Repeat this process until you put a card into your hand or you exile 2 cards with the same name. So the idea is you have an entire deck of 2 Tainted Pacts, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and random other stuff. So I'm going to kill Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. It is our opponent's win condition. But the idea is Tainted Pact you can use to exile the entirety of your deck and then draw with Jace to win. We are going to play Elspeth's Nightmare. It is going to be our method of checking if the coast is clear. Maybe that wasn't correct. Maybe I should have started going off. I should have played Peregrine Took. I think we could. Like, Duress would make this matchup very good for us. And that's 2 wins for us, so it was a disconnect. And we're at 2-1. Alrighty. Let's get on to game number 4. Okay. So you may have noticed the record jumped a little bit. That's because I just won a game that I am not putting in the video. It took so long. Pretty much we played against Grixis Control, and our opponent timed out in game 2 after we won game 1. Long story short, Grixis can't answer enchantments very well, so Trail of Crumbs kind of wrecked our opponent. Yeah, this is a decent hand. Depends on how fast our opponent is going, but it seems pretty solid regardless. So we're going to bottom Candy Trail or Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is kind of a card we want more mid-game. We're going to try and get a turn to... Oh, I didn't realize our opponent was on Lurrus. So this is going to be a matchup where we kind of need to move fast. This could be Bogles. That would be the Nightmare. I'm hoping for something more like Mardu Pyromancer. We'll lead off with Welcome to Sweet Tooth here. Just kind of force our opponent to spend time answering our creature. Nothing. All right, is this Bowmasters? This is Bowmasters. Oh, Sweet Tooth does feel bad into Bowmasters. I had not considered that. I'll swing in. Oh no. I sure hope my opponent doesn't flash in an Orcish Bowmasters. Oh, how am I ever going to recover from this? I never even saw it coming. I mean, how am I going to recover from this is still a question up in the air, but I definitely did, in fact, see that coming. Yeah, if you don't see someone who keeps on like getting priority weirdly, if you don't see that and go, I wonder if they have Orcish Bowmasters, probably haven't been playing Historic enough. I can just dump all my mana into everything here. I actually kind of like that. So I'm going to Make Disappear. If our opponent's playing Make Disappear, do they counter Trail of Crumbs? I'm going to lead off with Forest. It's awkward, because now I'm not going to have an unknown card in hand. Sauron's Ransom. Sure. That is not the correct timing to be playing that. Okay, Make Disappear goes into their hand. So our opponent's going to see this, and they're going to think, or will they? They're probably going to want those juicy, not Sauron's Ransom cards, but they're not actually going to do much for our opponent. Like, we can play around Make Disappear really well by never casting anything that can get countered and just spending our mana on the Trail of Crumbs and sacking food stuff. So yeah, that was really well played by me. I'm very happy with how I did that. Everyone, please take a moment to appreciate how good I am at this game. Thank you. Oh, that was a misplay. Dang it. Immediately punished for bragging. Okay, we play around Make Disappear for the rest of the game with Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. If our opponent taps out, this is just game. Pretty much. And we will put the pressure on. I was just thinking they're probably going to tap out on turn 4 because of Sheoldred or the One Ring, but I didn't even think about the fact they have Lurrus. So they're not likely tapping out. That's an oopsie on my part. We got another Sauron's Ransom coming. Watch out, my Confectioner's gonna get you. You better watch out for my experimental Confectioner. Please cast a 2-mana removal spell. I mean, is there a 1-mana removal spell that'll work here? Fatal Push. Fatal Push is a 1-mana removal spell that works here. Hit me with the push, opponent. Yep, push me. Sauron's Ransom. Oh, they got me. I was playing around Fatal Push. I've seen 2 of them. Okay. Our opponent can have Thoughtseize, or they can have 3 cards. Or Thoughtseize and that, or yeah, this is perfect. Opponent. You know you don't want Thoughtseize plus black card. Double Languish, get wrecked. That's so good. I love it. The double Languish is just so brutal when I've got a 6 toughness creature in play. Sure, draw your card. Yep, discard that Languish. It's not doing you much good. Alrighty. Oh, I forgot that triggers Confectioner. I totally forgot it did that. I will pay 1. We'll grab the Jungle Hollow. Our opponent's probably never going to let us cast Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. It was a mistake for me to put that in hand. Alright, Jungle Hollow. And now we will swing out. They probably have another Orcish Bowmasters this turn. Yep. Makes sense, and they're totally happy to cast it. Because there's not really, like, they're not leaving themselves defenseless or anything. They block the Confectioner. Please don't have Fatal Push. Fatal Push would be such a blowout here. End turn. Opponent's just letting us get our Trail of Crumbs value. They can't keep up. Like, how many win cons can our opponent possibly be playing? I guess Hall of the Storm Giants, that would be annoying. But, like, can they answer the endless value that Trail of Crumbs is providing? Bonk, yep, you got me. You got me good. Anyways, I'll sacrifice a food. Opponent, I hope they just... Their hand is just filled with dead cards, it feels like. It's gotta be at this point, almost. That's Peregrine Took. That's a game-winning card right there. And an Experimental Confectioner. Okay. Oh, Orcish Bowmasters. Orcish Bowmasters are dumb. Dang, that's rough. That does put a damper on the Peregrine Took plan. We'll swing in. Alright, opponent, what do you got? Please tap out. Could make me extremely happy if you tapped out. I'd love for your Orcish Bowmasters to die as well. Okay, that's actually quite the victory for us. That Orcish Bowmaster going down. We will play another Confectioner. Will that bait the counter well enough? No. We play Took. Alright, we're going to play Took. Change the equation. Consider the equation changed, opponent. Well done. Alright, I didn't play around that very well. I was trying to play around Make Disappear and Fatal Push. Okay, brutal. Opponent might get us here. Pay 1, yep. Grab a squirrel, I guess. Yep, we're grabbing a squirrel. Squirrel doesn't feel great into Orcish Bowmasters, but maybe we'll find a removal spell. So our opponent's thinking if they want to bind to secrecy to steal one of our creatures and, like, shoot, all their creatures suck. That's right. Our creatures do suck. Get wrecked. Don't play a creature. I would love to play this around Make Disappear. Okay. Opponent. How do you feel about Knight of the Sweet's Revenge? After you just discarded your Bind to Secrecy. Archmage's Charm. Fair enough. Opponent. How do you feel about Ravenous Squirrel? I should have attacked first. Because they might flash in Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. End turn. Flash in the Bowboys. Flash in Snapcaster. Okay. Grabs the Fatal Push. Fatal Push gets rid of our squirrel. That's kind of okay. I would love for this Experimental Confectioner to resolve. And currently our opponent has 1 unknown card in hand. It's about to be 2. I guess actually 3 with Orcish Bowmaster attack. But we do not die to a single Make Disappear, even if they casualty it. They discard the Make Disappear. That's a little scary. That means they might have Archmage's Charm, or like a harder counter. Lurrus to hand. Lurrus not to play yet. This plays around Make Disappear. Do they have the hard counter? They do not have hard counter. We can play Many Partings. Have we made a land drop this turn? I can't remember if we made a land drop. Oh well. Okay, Many Partings. Would you like to counter this opponent? It is card draw for us. It's going to grab a forest, I guess. We have not played a land drop, which means we can now also play Candy Trail. And we're still holding up sacrificing a food and drawing with Trail of Crumbs. While we also get to Scry 2. Scry 2. Experimental Confectioner, beautiful. I'll be grabbing that off of my Trail of Crumbs trigger on my opponent's turn. Yes, we will attack. Might bait out a boy. Oh my gosh. How many bow boys is that? That's 3 of them. That's 3 of our opponent's bow boys in the top half of the deck. That's annoying. Not happy about it. Very much not happy about that. Okay, next to damage. We're gonna be putting a lot of pressure on with rats, honestly. Like next turn, if we play Experimental Confectioner, we're gonna start getting a lot of rats. This looks to me like Languish. I think our opponent's gonna Languish so that they can Lurrus. They're gonna Languish so that they can Lurrus. That's annoying. Languish. Alright. Resolves. Everybody's dead. Well, we will start drawing cards, opponent. Yeah, we'll pay 1 for that. We'll grab Experimental Confectioner. Best card we can have right now. Once during each of your turns. Okay, so they can't use that to be like flashing in bow boys on our turn. Don't tell me. Do they have the 4th bow boy? Okay, if they had the 4th bow boy right there, I would have been pretty annoyed. Oh my gosh. Wait a second. How much can we deal this turn? We can deal 8 damage to the opponent. Oh my gosh. Wait, opponent just scooped? Why did they scoop? Tough Cookie, though. Tough Cookie was going to be great there. All right. Lurrus. All right, so Shieldred's Edict, not great here. Terra Sunder also looking kind of medium. I'll keep one just in case we need an out to some random permanent that I'm not thinking of. A Stone of Eric. Do we want one to stop Lurrus? Maybe even both? You know what? Yeah, we want Stone of Eric in this matchup. And we'll get rid of the Terra Sunder. We don't really need that. Elspeth's Nightmare actually pretty good here. Fatal Push, fine. Annihilating Glare, not great. Annihilating Glare, we don't really need to kill. We know the mana value of all of our opponent's stuff, so we can replace it with Fatal Push. In fact, with that reasoning, we're going to go up to 4 Fatal Push and cut the go for the throat. Back for Seconds. I really don't like having a lot of expensive cards in the deck, so I'm going to trim that for a Back for Seconds. Royal Treatment. Royal Treatment actually seems pretty good. A Ravenous Squirrel weak in the matchup against Bow Boys. The Bow Boys just make Squirrel so bad. Because, like, the card draw ability is not good. The fact that it's 1 toughness when it enters the battlefield is not good. You really just don't want to play Ravenous Squirrel against Bowmasters. Which sucks, because Historic is currently Bowmasters. Anyways. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you may have noticed on the side of chat, you may notice that it's not moving. Largely, that's because today is the World Championship of Magic. So that's what most people are watching. However, in the description below, you can find a link to my Twitch channel, and you can make that chat move. Just a food for thought. You can make that chat move, and it'll cease to be a boring thing, just sitting there asking, "Can we make Absian junk?" You can replace that message with one of your own. All right, opponent. What? My wife says she's sold. My sales pitch is good enough. My wife, she's pretty smart, so you might want to follow her advice. All right, opponent is maybe. If I sing this too accurately, I might get a copyright claim. I believe that humming the Monsters Inc. thing to myself is considered fair use. I don't think anyone is going to be watching this video simply because they want to hear my rendition of the Monsters Inc. theme. And even if they were, it's my rendition. All right. Game number 7. You may notice 7 is not the number that comes after whatever match was the last one in this video. That is because I have had extremely slow opponents. Like this, it is unbelievable how slow these players have been playing. And due to these extremely slow opponents, I have opted not to put those games into this video. I have won every single one. So a lot of these games have been... do I actually want both of these? Trail of Crumbs is so strong in some matchups and so bad in others. Like, way too slow. I'm keeping both. It's greedy. It is greedy, but it's what I'm doing. So yeah. Oh, Spirits. This is the wrong matchup. This is the wrong matchup. I didn't want that Trail of Crumbs on top anymore. Yeah, that sucks. I'm in trouble. Okay. I've got my 1/1 little guy. He's just a little guy. Don't worry about him. Oh, Curious Obsession. That's so good. Opponent's going to draw a card. Opt to do nothing else. I'm going to play mini partings. See what my opponent does. It appears they will allow it to resolve. I'll grab a forest. Now our opponent could sacrifice their Mausoleum Wanderer to counter this. Doing so would be a little bit weird, but I mean, that's an option that they have right now. They choose not to stop our Trail of Crumbs. Alright, that means we have stuff to do to play around counter spells, but unlike an earlier opponent I had who was playing super slow, our opponent is not just going to have counter spells, they're also going to have pressure. And this pressure might be too much for us. Peregrine Took, that's a good card. Opponent allows me to get a 6/6. That's a lot of pressure on our opponent now. What do you say, opponent? Let it hit? Opponent lets it hit him. Okay. If I play Peregrine Took, I'm going to get countered. That slows down the opponent. Yeah, this prevents our opponent from developing their board more. Counter this. They need an answer to my 6/6 little guy. They're untapping Sleep Cursed Fairy, sure. Ooh, Shieldred's Edict, gonna be pretty good in this matchup, I dare say. Pass to damage, sure. They draw a card, yeah, that's really strong. Drawing cards is a good thing, I hear. That's more mana, which is great, because they're playing a lot of soft permission. I'm going to swing in with my 6/6 and my 2/3. No, they have... Oh, what's it called? The Spellcatcher guy. Spellcatcher guy scares me right now. I'll play Trail of Crumbs. Would you like to counter this opponent? That's more food. That's more longevity. Oh my gosh, I forgot it makes 2 with Peregrine Took. I am just swimming in card draw. Rattle Chains. Okay. So that is a reason why Shieldred's Edict will be good. Because Rattle Chains is going to blank our removal a lot of the time. Alright, yep, sure. They get in for 7. Alright, we're scared. We're scared, but not actually that scared. Because we can just gain life. We can gain so much life. And our opponent needs a blocker for the 6/6. Or a way to deal with it otherwise. Some way to handle our 6/6 problem. Trail of Crumbs, sure. I'll pay 1. I'll grab another Candy Trail. That's a great draw. Can't pay for that one. I'll draw a card. That's more life gain, which is significant. I'll have 5 mana next turn. Mana Tithe. They have Mana Tithe in their deck. Okay, they are a gamer. They are a dangerous type of gamer, the kind that plays Mana Tithe. Swing in for 6. They can obviously survive this. They can untap Sleep Cursed Fae. They can also just chump block with Rattle Chains. Sure. So they just chump with the Rattle Chains. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to play Candy Trail. Do they counter this? It's not really worth countering, right? But now, ooh, Fatal Push. Is that going to do much? Not really. Experimental Confectioner is kind of cool, but a little bit too slow. We just need something that immediately impacts the board. Which I guess Experimental Confectioner does. does do that. Okay, Fatal Push, I'm scared to use. This opponent's like heavy on the like Spell Pierce side of the spectrum. Jungle Hollow gains me some life. We'll pass the turn. We are going to Candy Trail. Oh, that's another reason to not put Fatal Push on top, because we're going to be using Trail of Crumbs activations soon. Okay. We will accept this 7 damage. We can gain more than 7 life every turn. Okay. Let's go. Come on. Adhikar Waste. They've just got counterspells. Just counterspells for days. Trail of Crumbs triggers. I'll pay for 1. Oh, Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Do we grab Knight of the Sweet's Revenge? That's a must counterspell, honestly, right now. That does so much. Oh yeah, we gotta take it. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Auto pay. Swamp. Sure, we'll take it. Draw a card, gain 3 life. Elspeth's Nightmare. Wonderful. That's something else that's kind of pressuring our opponent. Tough Cookie. Tough Cookie is also great. Tough Cookie's really good. Okay, I've got 7 mana. If I cast this, they're going to counter it, right? They've got to counter it, or else they're in huge trouble. All right, we're going to force them to counter this. Spell Queller. Alrighty. That's not going to be too good here because... Alright, we're going to let them do this. I should have attacked first, maybe. That might have tapped them out of this. Okay, we attack with this guy. They untap. Oh, shoot, they untap. Oh, wait, no, that's fine. Oh my gosh, we're going to gain a bunch of life. They can't keep up with this. Get ready. Elspeth's Nightmare destroys Spell Queller. They can sack Mausoleum Wanderer, but they don't want to. Resolve. Wait, is this only instants and sorceries? I thought it was non-creature. Instant or sorcery. I'm so dumb. We now have the mana to cast Tough Cookie, which I think we will. That's now threatening Giga Lethal on our opponent. We also have the mana to do some crazy stuff. End turn. Alright, so I should have done some of this pre-combat. I maybe should have done it in a different order to get the Tough Cookie down and threaten lethal, but... Alright, opponent, what do you got? Pass to blockers. I'll take 4 damage. You can't deal extra damage after that. They have to kill Tough Cookie before they pass back to us. Sleep Cursed Fairy, sure. They're passing. That's game. There's no way this isn't game. Let me... Oh, and I also get to see their hand. So I know exactly what's coming. Geistlight Snare, lots of reprieves, a Slip Out the Back. We will get rid of Slip Out the Back. Because now all we need to do is pay 3 mana. And this is now a 4/4. And then we'll pay 3 mana. And this is now a 4/4. And then, you know what? I think we're going to pay 3 mana and make another 4/4. Okay, Tough Cookie. Good in this matchup. So good. All right, Annihilating Glare. Go for the throat. Okay, which is Vanity. I actually do like having a lot of removal against these kind of decks. I think we can overload on removal against them. Squirrel is good. Anything with like activated abilities is great. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. It was cool there, but I don't think that's how we're planning to win the game. I don't think that's our game plan. Cookie's good. Tear Asunder, too expensive. It gets rid of some things. But no, we're not going for that expensive stuff. This is good. Like, it could be a removal for Curious Obsession, but oh well. Yeah. Also, if you notice, I'm gonna make this shout out like every game because I'm like, I don't even remember if I made this shout out in a game that's gonna make it into the final video. But you see this chat over here? It's been that way for a long time because everybody's busy watching the World Tournament. But if you want to come and be in the next YouTube video, check the link down in the description and you can, I'm going to mulligan for a better hand, and you can come and harass me in my next stream. Keep 5, sure. I'll keep 1 mini partings. I guess that's going to be my turn 1 play, isn't it? Stay low on lands. Yeah, we're going to do this. This is kind of crazy. Tap land. That's good news for us. Many partings. Gonna drop a swamp into play. Or drop a swamp into our hand, that is. Now we get to welcome to Sweet Tooth next turn. Unless our opponent somehow has counter magic held up for it. Which I wouldn't expect. Okay. Maybe they have a Spell Pierce, but I'm not so sure about that. Alright, is Trail of Crumbs better or Welcome to Sweet Tooth? I think Sweet Tooth. Yes. Okay, it resolves. That's going to be a 4/4 creature eventually. Another tap land. Alright, that looks like a Spell Queller kind of plan. I will force them to Spell Quell something. So I'm going to force them to Spell Quell this. Geist Light Snare. That's fine. That taps our opponent out, which means we can get in for 1 damage. And that means Sleep Cursed Fairy is not doing stuff yet. Alrighty, sure. Pump up the little guy. Our opponent also is not like drawing extra cards, so these 1-for-1s are perfectly fine. We'll swing in. Would you like to do something to block? Iganjo. Sure, opponent. You got me. You got me with the Iganjo. I'm going to play Confectioner just to be mana efficient. Oh no, is this Mana Tithe? Oh, we saw Mana Tithe in game 1. Okay, we're good. If we got Mana Tithe there, that would have been so funny. I would have absolutely deserved getting wrecked by Mana Tithe if I played into it so badly. It's a blocker for Mutavault. It's another land, which is great news. Okay, we're fine swinging in. If our opponent does some like shenanigans to stop this or punish it. Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. That's not even shenanigans. That's just something they can do. That was so dumb of me. Well, we'll sack a food. Create a rat token. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I punted that hard. I just forgot how Sleep Cursed Fairy works. I've been playing too long against opponents who are just playing way too slow. No counter on the Welcome to Sweet Tooth? Opponent, that's sketchy. I'm not sure what your game plan is for actually winning the game. It is looking increasingly like you don't actually have one. You seem more worried about slowing me down. Spell Queller on mini partings. That's a decision. All right, I think we do this. Elspeth's Nightmare is too valuable. Like, this is just so strong. Getting rid of that Spell Queller. More than anything, like, that's good value for our Elspeth's Nightmare. Because we actually get the kill, and we're going to check their hand next turn to know if the coast is clear, which is so strong. It also makes our Welcome to Sweet Tooth even stronger. All right. Mono blue tempo. We've been forcing you to have it every single turn. Oh, I didn't need to play around at that time. They didn't have enough mana to untap that. Okay. Opponent, show me what's in your hand. I'm going to look at your hand before I put counters on stuff. I'm going to put the counters on this guy because he can block. Don't know if that ever will matter. Okay, triple random spells. Okay, if I attack with the rat, they just Mutavault to block it. Yeah. Okay, this is the best play. There's not really a good way they can block it. And we're going to force them to use that Spell Queller at some point. I mean, we're gaining a lot of life, and this 6/6 could go all the way. It literally could just go all the way. Especially the way that our opponent's been playing. Their deck seems a little bit too invested in... Oh, okay, 1 second. Let me think how I can do this. Okay, I'm going to attack with both. What this does is it forces our opponent to tap out a little bit. Settle the wreckage! Okay, you got me. I'm actually really glad I attacked with the rat, because now that gives me 2 lands. That's an extra land I get. Submit 2. I now can easily resolve Experimental Confectioner. And now I can start sacking lands to get rats. Oh my gosh, that was unexpected. I did not expect to get Settle the Wreckage by the aggro deck. Nice. Soul Partition. Very good play here. So we're going to sack a food now. Sacking the food gives us a 1/1 rat, which is like whatever. But it's actually going to swing in next turn for damage because we're going to play Experimental Confectioner. Our opponent's going to exile it with Spell Queller. And then we are going to go for the throat their Spell Queller. I probably should have done Knight of the Sweet's Revenge first. That was a misplay. That was a huge misplay, actually. Now our opponent isn't... They're not going to be tapped out next time. I guess they don't have a way to stop it, though, unless they top deck really well. They're going to have to top deck here. Okay, Confectioner gets into play. Okay, this is a good game to end on, I think. We finally got our deck showing off that it can do fair things against this tempo pile. Curious Obsession. That's annoying. That is spooky. However, we can put multiple lethal threats into play next turn if this Knight of Sweet's Revenge resolves. And our opponent's like all soft permission. The softest of soft permission. Oh no, March of Otherworldly Light, that's lethal. Never mind, we win the game. Is that? No, we're 1 damage short. We're exactly 1 damage short. Alright, little rat, get in there. 1 damage. Oh, that's annoying. We literally had lethal. Alright, this is definitely an upkeep Witherbloom Campus. This is 100% an upkeep Witherbloom Campus. Yeah, they start drawing cards. Are we going to lose to this? Are we actually going to lose to this? That'd be incredibly disappointing. Right, we're going to sack one of these. Like, our opponent can chump block if we try to win with a Knight of the Sweet's Revenge here. We need a little bit of life gain to keep up with them. In fact, I'm going to sack another. Nah, I'm not going to sack another. I need my mana. So I'm going to be spending a lot of it to scry here. Resolves. Oh, yeah, I don't think I want to draw that forest. Thanks, game. Draw. Ravenous Squirrel. That's a great one. And our opponent's permission, we've seen, is very soft. The softest of soft permission. Please don't have a hard counter. Okay, that's fine. That is completely fine. 2 mana to cycle their reprieve. Whatever. Try and Geistlight snare me, dang it. I was hoping they'd try to Geistlight snare me because they could think like, oh, I can get them with the Geistlight snare because they only have 2 mana up, but I actually have 7 mana up. I'm gonna sack 2 food to draw cards this turn. It's also gonna gain me some life, which is nice. Swinging in for 5. All right. I accept. I take my 5 damage. Draw your cards, opponent. All right, we may lose. We may lose after such a good start. Honestly, the misplay with the Confectioner is going to be the #1 thing that I'm just going to be hitting myself for. Oh, how did I do that? Sack of food. Gain a life, draw a card. Watch them like Fairy Mastermind me here. Many Partings is fine. That is actually kind of a free card. That's a land that... alright, let's see. So now I just do this again, yeah. Alright, dunk. We'll sack another food to draw. Wonderful, I draw. Witch's Vanity. Goodbye, Mausoleum Wanderer. Yeah? Goodbye, Mausoleum Wanderer? I mean, there's no way they have enough counter magic to stop this, right? Wait, I can target Sleep Cursed Fairy. I'm targeting it. I know they've got Rattle Chains in hand, but this is not a spirit. Rattle Chains only targets a spirit, right? Green, green. Oh my gosh, that's huge. That cracked this game wide open. There's like no chance they can keep up now. Many Partings, opponent. I'm getting more food tokens. You can't stop me. We'll grab a swamp, which is very important for our Ravenous Squirrel. We will now tap all of our food for mana. Not all of it. We need to have a little bit of... We need to have 1 food that we can sack for life gain. I think that's for sure. Black, sack of food, draw a card. Experimental Confectioner. Try and cast that. We'll see what happens. What do you say to an Experimental Confectioner, opponent? They let it resolve. That's another food, which is another mana. We're in pretty... Yes! Fair game plan. An Experimental Confectioner, the card that you would think is the worst of the 2 in the combo. Like, it's a card that... It's a 2/3 that makes a food token, which isn't awful in our deck. And making these rats is actually so strong against our opponent, especially with Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Like, this food token plus the rats was going to do amazingly. What a game to end on. We just destroyed a deck that's playing light removal, and our life gain very much mattered. Our fair game plan mattered. Our Ravenous Squirrels mattered. The fact that we have a lot of room for removal in our deck mattered. This was the game where this version of the combo deck list came together. So happy to have that. Let's get to the deck wrap up. Okay, we did it. I think I might have even missed a game in there. I was playing so many games where opponents were roping me out in a row that I can't remember if it's actually 6-1 or 7-1. My brain was just slowly turning to mush. But this deck pulled its weight. That was incredible. Now, to be fair, we faced some like janky deck lists. So like we faced I'm trying to think through what I faced. We had a Dimir tempo list that someone was playing with Lurrus in one of those mush games, where they wrote me out after I started presenting too much value. But like that was kind of a weird matchup. Had no idea what it was. Same with the Grixis control matchup that didn't happen in this video. Like it was just a little too much targeted removal to be a good control deck. But the matchups that you saw in the video were actually fairly decent. Like, we got crushed by Mono Black, which I feel bad about. I think we actually have a better chance against Mono Black than you might think. If we draw our removal for their Shieldred, Trail of Crumbs is pretty much impossible. I mean, nobody's running Feed the Swarm in their sideboard. This card is a very good value engine against our opponents. I guess they did have Invoke Despair to answer it, but on its own, this helps us outpace a lot of mid-range decks, especially if we can tear asunder their rings. And so we can actually kind of keep up with those sorts of decks. We beat Mono Green Devotion by kind of picking apart their game plan. We were tear asundering their enchantments. We were able to kill stuff with Shieldred's Edict in the sideboard, which was nice. And our deck was really nice at being a combo deck that had room for interaction and a fair game plan. And that's what I love about this, is Peregrine Took is a great part of a fair game plan. Experimental Confectioner is a great part of a fair game plan. So we don't need that much to not need the combo in this deck. We can go off pretty well without the combo. And we saw that a lot of times. And again, that was essential. I don't think we would ever in a million years have beaten Azorius Spirits if we were all in on the combo. Like, trying to play 3-drops against Counterspell Tribal would have just been awful. So, overall, very happy with the deck. Sideboard could probably use some changes. One that was pointed out to me by a member of chat is Haywire Might. So Haywire Might is a really good sideboard option because it is an answer to the ring that you can find off of Trail of Crumbs. So that seems like kind of a slam dunk. In fact, I might even like change a Tear Asunder to Haywire Might. Maybe like leave the Tear Asunder in the sideboard and put Haywire Might's main deck. Annihilating Glare didn't really perform that well. There wasn't much reason to not just have Fatal Push. Our deck is pretty good at sacrificing stuff, whether it's our Sagas sacrificing themselves or we just sacrifice a food. So I think Fatal Push is completely fine to go up to 3 on and cut the Annihilating Glare. But overall, very happy with the deck list. Tough Cookie won us a game, so it's justified as the 2 of there. Trail of Crumbs easily won us games. Welcome to Sweet Tooth as a fair game plan won us some games. All of these cards were helping us get the combo off against Mono Green Devotion. It's beautiful. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to try and make more videos more frequently, but this was what a way to get back into it. I was a little bit frustrated running into so many matches that I wasn't feeling comfortable putting into this YouTube video, but after all that, we end up with a 6-1 record with an Artisan deck in best of 3. A best of 3 combo deck that's budget that we're doing this well with. Amazing. Anyways, with all that said, I'll catch you in the next video and keep on enjoying Budget Magic. Bye-bye.